Alright guys, Technivorous here, back with more Technivore. We're on part 3 of our Unity tutorial. Today we're going to be moving on to the next step of the UI, which is going to be, I believe, we're going to do a bullet counter. So I think we're heading in the first person shooter direction here, since we were talking about raycast and all of that earlier. So I got my Unity brought up here, and I'm going to think about this for just a second. I want another folder in my resources here, so I'm going to right click. Come on. Alright, create folder, fonts folder. Now I tend to use the 1001 free fonts quite a bit, so I have a superfluous amount of fonts in my folder here. This is just one of the font folders I have. We're gonna grab, let's go with this one. We'll grab that, drop it in here. It doesn't matter what font you use. I'm gonna show you how to use TextMesh Pro so we can get a little bit more beautiful UI here. So what I want to do, so I don't need to open that quite yet. I'm gonna go into Canvas, and I'm going to add right here where it says TextMesh Pro text, not regular text, TextMesh Pro text. Now I get this window popping up, and it says import TextMesh Pro Essentials. So click yes. I'm going to import that. It'll take a minute to decompress, and then it'll give me their basic font that they've got on here. And I, of course, am going to change it to my Creepster font. Not even sure if I remember what this font looks like. Like I said, it doesn't matter. It's really just more for looks. I guess my randomness here with the what I'm grabbing and throwing in here is going to kind of determine the feel of our game. So kind of should push us in a certain direction as far as the aesthetic. And that'll help determine where we're going to go with this in the future. Like I said, if you guys have any suggestions, drop them in the comments down below. I'm really just running through a couple of different things that I know to teach you a couple of tips and tricks and stuff like that. This tutorial is assuming that you already know all about C#. If you don't know how to code, you might want to start on one of our other tutorials. We have a different playlist that's coding C# for Unity, and that one is going to be where you want to start, because it's going to explain a lot more things as far as when we're talking about variables and stuff like that. Alright, so finally got my stuff imported here. I'm going to close that because I don't need it anymore. And then, okay, you can see the text that I imported. Here it is. It's right in the middle of the screen. I don't want it there. Normally your bullet counter's down on this side here. And I'm actually going to go into the TextMesh Pro stuff here in the inspector. Change that to say bullets 0 at the moment because I'm out of ammo. We're going to align that to the right side. Bring it back this way, just touch so it's not off the screen. Okay, now that's fairly basic. Next I want to go up here to Window, and we have this TextMesh Pro selection here. I'm going to click on that and click Font Asset Creator. And of course it opens in my other screen. Let's bring it over here. I don't have a font selected. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to grab my Creepster, and I'm going to click Generate Font Atlas. And this is going to take a minute too, but it's not too bad. TextMesh Pro is amazing for doing UI text. Before they included this, I struggled to find different ways of doing this, and there are several different ways, and some of them actually work quite well. But this is pretty tried and true, and using anything but TextMesh Pro at this point is pretty much reinventing the wheel. So unless you're going specifically for just beautiful text that nobody else has, or something completely out of the way different, definitely recommend this package here. Alright, so now I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to save it under fonts, save it under Creepster, regular SDF. Okay. I can close that now. And I'm going to go in my inspector here, and I'm going to open that font that we just created. And you see the font changes down here. Now, the reason that I'm going to be using... Sorry guys, my mouse sucks, so it's kind of glitchy. The reason that I did that and use the Text Mesh Pro is because it has all these other options. Okay, see how quickly I can... Okay, I see where this is going. We're going to end up with zombies here at some point, I can tell. Let's see. That's the vertex color, so the actual mesh. We can overlay another color as the face color here. And I want some... There we go. We'll do that. And I mean, you can bring a texture in here. I'll grab one just to show you. I get a little transparency from that one. Depending on the texture, what the alpha is, it does different stuff. So I don't want to use any of those right now. I'm going to leave it. I am going to do an outline. And we'll increase the thickness of the outline. I'll leave it black. I also like to do the underlay. Now you got to activate this one by clicking the check, and then you can expand it here. We'll make the offset on the X. We'll make it go back and down. Oh, that's up, down. Something like that. Okay, so that's not too bad. Alright, let's hit play and check out our scene. La-di-da. First load's always the longest. Every time I open it. I don't know why. So, creeping along at a snail's pace here. Come on, computer. Exception has been encountered. Just... Oh, shut up. I'm not even using you yet. Alright, we're in our game. We have our bullets down there. And as you can see, like I said, it doesn't do anything yet. It's just there for signage. Alright. The next step is going to make that say what we want it to say. So for that, I'm going to add a tag. Tags are great. They're easy ways to grab things. You always want to make sure that you're paying attention to your naming conventions when it comes to the tags, because they can get quite extensive and mixed up quite easily. So I'm going to call this HUD, all capital, and then bullets, all lowercase. I'm going to save that. And that just created it. I didn't actually add it to my text yet. So, alright, so now the tag for this is HUD bullets. I'm going to rename this as well. Okay. Now, in order to fire a bullet, I'm going to need to do that from script. I'm going to have to get an input. The thing I don't want to do is go into my HUD script and add a bunch of stuff that has to do with player input, because you generally want to separate scripts out as much as you can. All the player input stuff should be in a player input script. And I'm actually going to create that script now. Although, let's see, we're going to just call it player. All of our player input technically won't be in this script, because there's scripts attached to the rigid body that accept input, that move that, and you can do input in different scripts to do different things. We'll get more into that later, but for now it's just best to keep it compartmentalized. I'm going to add this script to the rigid body first person controller. It says it's still compiling. Hang on. Try that again. Sometimes you gotta wait a minute for it to actually write the file that you just created before you can drop it onto something. So don't get frustrated, just give it a minute. Alright, so I added it to the first person controller. Now if I click on that, I can see down here I have the player script. It doesn't have anything in it, so it's just a blank. Also on here, the other input script is the rigid body first person controller, and it has movement settings, mouse look settings, advanced settings. I could go over those. I probably should have went over them in the last video when we put that on, but honestly, it's pretty basic. Feel free to go through it yourself and mess around with the values, skip around a little bit and see what happens. Now we're going to open up our script. We're opening the player script. And we're going to need in here some sort of variable, and I'm going to make it public just because it's easier for me to see in the inspector. We're going to use an int for bullets, except it's not as simple as you would think, where you could just put bullets and use that to keep track of all of your data for shooting, reloading, capacity, stuff like that. So we are going to need a couple other variables. We're going to change this one to bullets left. And we camel cased it. We'll change that to, it's public, so let's just set it to 0. We'll change it to the inspector. And we're going to need another public int, bullets max. We'll set that to 100. Why not? That we can change in the inspector as well because it's public, but we'll probably leave it at that 100 just for testing purposes. I'm going to put a couple more ints in here. We're going to skip most of these for this video, but we'll come back and use them later when we're refining some things. So public int clip size, let's say 22. I'm imagining an assault rifle here with a shorter clip, I guess. And I think that that's good for integers. We're going to add one more variable. This one is going to be that's unnecessary. It doesn't matter what I put in there. I'm about to change it anyway. Alright, so we have our variables, and in the start method we are going to grab, well, let's see, we need one more TM. Alright, I forgot about, it's been a while since I did some scripting. We're going to say using TM Pro. Okay, that'll allow us to grab Text Mesh Pro UGUI. Okay, that's the text that we have. We're going to call that TMP for Text Mesh Pro. Okay, and then our on start, we're going to say TMP equals game object dot find game object with tag. This is where we're going to use the tag that we put in before. So let's see, HUD bullets, capital HUD, lowercase bullets. So that's got to be in quotes, and we're going to do it just like this. Okay, and then this is grabbing the game object. We need to grab the actual Text Mesh Pro component. So we're going to go get component TM Pro. Text Mesh Pro on GUI, and then we need close parentheses. Alright, now in our update method, now that we've grabbed this, it finds the game object when it starts, and then it basically sets this public object that we've declared to be equal to that. So in the update method, we can say tmp.text equals and we're concatenating here. We're going to add an integer to this string. We're going to say bullets left. Okay. Just one more thing I need to do here. This is basically going to display this to the screen, but it's not going to change at all, so you're not going to know it's doing anything because I'm not actually incrementing bullets or firing anything. So we're going to say we need that if. and then our condition is going to be input dot get mouse button down. We'll use 0. And so if the mouse goes down, we're going to do greater than 0. This print line here should show up in the console, I believe. So, file, save all. Yeah, that's mostly where we want it now. Make sure everything's attached, and it is. So, I hit play, and let's see what happens with our text. Again, it's taking forever. I apologize. I always have a lot of stuff running because I'm doing multiple things at once right now. I'm probably uploading a video and editing a video and among other things. So it says bullet 0. I forgot to set that to anything, so we'll hit stop and start it again. But if I click it, you'll see it doesn't go below 0. So you might assume it's not working, but that's actually what this does. This says if bullets left is greater than 0, fire a bullet. So I'm at 0, so it's not doing anything. We'll go back in here. I'll stop that. Go back into my player where it says bullets left, and we'll say 22, because that's our clip size. I could reasonably put any number in there right now because I haven't implemented the clip size, the clip count, or the bullets max. So actually, while we're experimenting, let's do 555. That'll give us plenty of clicks to show you it's working. Now you play again, and we wait. There it goes, pretty quick that time. Alright, so, boom, boom, boom. Basically, all this is doing is getting the input of the mouse click and counting down that number by 1. So I'm not actually firing anything, I'm not actually shooting anything right now. We are going to do a couple more things in the next video to finish this up with those other variables that I put in. And then the video after that, we'll get into some raycasting and actually shooting stuff. So, thank you for watching, guys. We need subscribers, so if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos. Hit the like button. Hit the bell, you get notifications. This has been another Technivorous tutorial on Technivore. Thanks, guys.